Bank of Scotland and Bannerman Mackley, the auditors have the legal liability ensure the various responsibilities in which the breach of contract and fraud negligence have been identified. The statutory law liability on the concerned Capro Industries case has been identified with various obligations. The significant rights and codes of conduct play an important role in identifying the financial loss. That has a crucial impact on legal liabilities of the organization. The brief description of the concerned factual issues and the responsibility culpability is going to be evaluated in the following sections. The identification of the root cause of the concerned case and the various problems that are made by the defendants are going to be illustrated in the following slides. The most appropriate cases that will be illustrated in the study are Capro Industries versus Dickman 1990 and Royal Bank of Scotland RBS versus Bannerman Johnston Mackley 2002. While considering the two case studies, different key events and the factual issues will be provided in the following points. For case 1, Capro Industries versus Dickman 1990. Purchase decision under inaccurate accounts. In relating to the case, it was seen that Capro Industries pursued from Touch Ross and then alleged that those purchase decisions were particularly upon the inappropriate accounts, which helped in overvaluation of the company. This was also claimed that the auditors of the Fidelity Touch Ross did potential investors and as duty of care. This claim was unsuccessful and the purpose of the exercising the class right, and the auditor did not had any reasonable knowledge for the potential investors and as a duty of care.
Thanks Gurpreet. So now I would like to discuss case 2, which is Royal Bank of Scotland versus Bannerman Johnston Mackley, joint and several liability. This criticism under the current system consists of penalties that had been incurred by the audit profession under highly unfavorable conquest. This mainly arises under the civil law principle and in force within the UK. This also means that multiple culpable parties does neglect the case of plaintiff, and this may also pursue from the parties that are individually sought under entire damages. So the second one is lack of insurance and competition in audit market. The lack of insurance cover within the sector comprises of different size, and some of them do consist of claims. In this regard, the auditor liability cannot be considered as the sole reason for the lack in proper competition within the companies. It may be said simply to be risky for the smaller firms to take control of such clients. Now I am going to explain responsible culpability. In the absence of any disclaimer of the liability to third parties was a significant contributing factor to the duty of care on to them. Bannerman Johnston Mackley was solely responsible for misleading the Royal Bank of Scotland, as the auditor firm could not identify or intentionally hide the true financial health of the APC Limited. That's all from my side. Now I would like to call my next group member. She will discuss about this topic further. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mohammed Safwan. Now I am going to explain about responsible culpability, which includes the false auditor report and the compensation payment. Produces a false auditor reports to the Royal Bank of Scotland. Second one is Bannerman Johnston Mackley was liable to pay the amount of 13 million to the Royal Bank of Scotland as a compensation. Now I would like to talk about identification of the root cause of the issues. First one is inadequate information. Analyzing the case of Capro versus Dickman, it is stated as per the given case study that certain purchase of shares of company called Fidelity was done as the buyer firm had inaccurate data regarding Fidelity. The data was which was with the buyer firm was inaccurate as the company Fidelity was overvalued. Due to the mentioned event, Capro claimed duty of care being owed by the auditor of Fidelity towards the potential investors. And the second one is lack of proper scrutiny. As per the case study provided in the second case of Royal Bank of Scotland versus Bannerman Johnston Mackley, it is reported that the Royal Bank of Scotland had to lose a sum of over 13 million due to unpaid overdraft facilities to insolvent client APC Limited. Due to this event, Royal Bank of Scotland alleged Bannerman of being negligent while scrutinizing the financial statements of APC Limited, and therefore Bannerman further failed to detect any fraudulent and material misstatement in the financial statements of APC Limited. Furthermore, the lending facilities were provided to APC Limited based on the audited reports submitted by Bannerman. Due to these events, Royal Bank of Scotland claimed duty of care from Bannerman, Johnston, Mackley. By having a brief overview of the given case study, it seemed legit of Bannerman being aware of the audited report for banking facility letter of APC Limited to be used by Royal Bank of Scotland in order to consider their lending decision. Thank you so much. Our next group member will discuss further about this topic.
Thanks, Dimple. My name is Sakshi and I'm going to discuss about the problems and mistakes made by the defendant. This case provided the relevant evidence to the fact that the auditor have a significant liability to the books of account and their proper and true maintenance. In this case, the Royal Bank of Scotland complained that they have lost 13 millions in unpaid overdraft facilities against the insolvent client name APC Limited. They also allege that the auditor Bannerman has deliberately been negligent in detecting the true position of the books of account of the APC Limited and thus failing to detect the fraudulent and material misstatement. In this case, the fraudulent act was conducted by the insolvent APC Limited. However, the Bannerman was responsible for the detection of the fraudulent activity of the company and was liable to make a true representation of the statement of account in the original auditor reports. Bannerman made a huge mistake by not assuring the books of accounts were true to their best knowledge, which might affect the investors and other stakeholders of the company. When there is a false statement made in the auditor's report, the auditor is absolutely liable for the misstatement and he was responsible for active scrutiny and supervision of the books of accounts and latest rules and regulation of the apex authority of the country. Bannerman failed to disclaim this important fact in the financial statement of APC Limited as auditor had a legal duty of the care which was not performed adequately and is liable for the third party if the third party make any loss due to misleading auditor's report stated by Part 7 of the Companies Act 1985. Thank you so much for your attention. I would like to call my next group member.
Thank you so much, Sakshi, and my name is Priya. I am going to take this topic further by discussing the contribution to the adverse judgment for awarding the damages. The relationship of proximity establishes when the defender knows to whom the auditor's report is submitted and for which purpose the auditor's report will be utilized. The fact that the Royal Bank of Scotland might use the audited financial statement of the APC Limited and the Bannerman's auditor's report also makes the defendant liable for awarding the damages to the bank for its losses. The Bannerman was also liable to pay the damages as it deemed that they have prepared the financial statements and the auditor's report with the intention and the knowledge of the fact that they might be used for reference by the Royal Bank of Scotland. All these ignorance of the fact has led to the chartered accountant firm to be liable for the losses incurred by the bank based on the representation of financial statement to pay for the damages. Now we are going to discuss about the recommendations on this report. So we have identified that auditing strategy and auditing program, and we are going to extensively discuss about it. So the audit strategy helps in identifying the financial impact and the financial loss that has been occurred due to the legal liability purpose. The communication strategy and nature of the auditors are identified by the audit strategy. Effective audit strategy helps to implement the financial statements in which the financial loss of the concerned organization has been identified. Effective audit program plays an important role in implementing the audit plan in which the allocation of financial resources has been identified. The members of the concerned organization are required to focus on conducting audit programs in which the skills and the competency of the individuals has improved. The audit program monitors the various rules and compliance regulations properly. Therefore, it is required for the concerned organization to validate the audit programs for coordinating and supervising the audit strategy. It can be concluded from the above case study that auditor legal liability influences the financial condition of the concerned organization. The statutory law liability on the concerned Capro Industries case has been identified in the above section in various obligations. The identification of the root cause of the concerned case and the various problems that are made by the defendants are going to be illustrated effectively in the above sections. The contributions for awarding the damages and the recommendation for effective audit strategy, audit programs and effective measures have been implemented in the above sections for analyzing the financial conditions of the concerned organization. Now, on behalf of Group 6, we would like to thank you for your precious time and attention.